Thanks.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is a lot of times on my websites I have a test page that I put in there that I can always go and mess around with code and do whatever.
Right.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just tell it to start a new page. I was right clicking to do this, but I'm going to use a name that I know will never be in your WordPress thing. So I usually do something like XYZ space hyphen and then test page.
Right.
Right? Because then once I click outside of that, it's going to give me the URL for it. That's what the final URL is there. Okay?
Okay.
And then I'm going to click Use the Divi Builder. So I got to click that, and it's going to go away for a second here, and it's going to do some stuff in the background and blah, blah, blah. Let me get rid of this thing here. That shouldn't be there. It takes a second. You got to wait until this thing stops spinning and out. And I've got a couple things running in the background. So, all right. So this is the first thing you're going to see is you're going to get three options here where you can either A, start from a new page from scratch, which is what I do most of the time. B, you can load up templates because you can pre-build them. Or C, you can clone a page. But we have another tool out there that we can clone it before we even get to this. So typically I always start with this one here. So you just click on Start Building. Now, it's going to ask you right away, it's already created a section, and I'll explain that, but right away you get this box, and it's asking you, what do you want for the layout for this row that you're going to be putting things? Do you want to have just one giant block? Do you want two side-by-side blocks? Do you want three? You can choose from any of these options for layout, okay? In this example, I'm just going to use a standard block first. And then immediately it's going to ask me, what do I want to put in there? It's got an accordions and audios and bar graphs and blogging and blurps and all kinds of things. But in the search box, the thing you're going to use, the two things you're going to use most is image and text. So if I just type in TEX in the search box, there's the text module. If I click on that, this window pops open, and this is where I can start inserting my text and what I'm going to do. This is the standard sort of editor inside of WordPress. It looks very familiar.
Yeah, it looks so easy to operate.
Yeah, I'm just going to write in here, this is some sample text, period. All right? Now, one thing that I always do is I highlight the first part of this. If it's a long sentence, I only highlight part of it up to where I know it's not the end of the sentence. And you see this little chevron right here. If I click on that, now I can see the other things that are available. The one that's here, the admin label, I open that and I write in there. Because you see right here it says text in the gray bar over here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So watch what happens here. To me, a paragraph text is just a standard thing. And I paste that in there. So see right here now, it shows me. That's what the admin label does. It just shows me what it is. So when I'm done with that, I click this little check mark down at the bottom, and the box closes. All right. So now you'll notice here, this is why I wanted to show you this, because Divi is built around, and all web pages are built around a box within a box within a box. So we have a section, and contained within that, that's why it's a little smaller, is we have one row right now, and contained inside of that row, we have one text element.
Mm-hmm.
And notice that they're blue, aqua, and gray. And down here, we've got a gray button, we've got a aqua button, and we've got a blue button. The reason we use different sections is we can group our information together, or we can do different like images in the background or different colors or whatever we want, video in the background behind other stuff.
Right.
So let's say that I want to have a big headline at the top of my page, and then right below that headline, I want to have some text on the left side and an image on the right side. So because it's going to be in the same section, that means I just need a new row. So if I go to this little button right here and I just click that one time,
mm-hmm.
and I want to have a side-by-side now, so I'm going to click that, and immediately ask me what I want to put in that first block. So I'm going to just go TEX again, and there's text. And then I'm going to write in here, more text. Copy that and hit the chevron so I can go down here and I'll just type in text space hyphen space and paste it in, more text. And I close that. See, it's put it on this side because this row had that 2 sections in there. And now I can click here and put in my image. So if I click on that and I type in IM for start of the word image, you can see it says countdown, timer, testimonial. These have IM in them, like timer, but this is the one I want, image, right? So when I click on that, there's add the image. I just click on the add the image button. These are images that are already in your library, or I can upload a new one. I'm just going to use your picture here right now. So I grab that, shows me the size of it and blah, blah, blah. I can put in alt text and things like that. If I scroll this down to the bottom, it says, you know, what is my alignment? I won't do anything here. I just want to make sure it says full size. So I say upload image, and there it is. And I will say, okay. All right, so now we have an image, we got text, we got that. What I'm going to do now is I publish this. This is going to save the page, all right? So I got to wait until it finishes doing this thing running here, and you'll see at the end, it'll show you the page is published, blah, 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 and then this page will reload again. So you just got to give that a second until it does that. All right, so now what I can do is, if I go up here where this link is and I right click on it and I say open in a new tab, if I go here now and I let the page load, there is what I just built. I know it's ugly right now, but there's what we did. We've got the one, I don't mean because your picture's there, by the way, sorry. But I put in there, we've got that one big headline, but it's very small text. Then we've got some text over here and we've got your picture, right? All right. So let's go back because I want to show you something here now. Now, one thing that's key to understand here is if you look at the section or the row or the item, they all have these icons on them. And you'll notice that they're the same across a whole bunch of these.
Right.
So the first one, it doesn't matter if it's here, it's called move. You can move it. If you had a couple of sections, you could actually grab it here and drag it down and change the order of the sections. Right? The same with the rows here. Like if I had you got your image and your text here, if I wanted to, I could just go here, click it and hold it and drag this up, let it go. And now I've just completely changed the location where they are on the page. All right? I'll put that back because I want the headline back there. So I'll move that back. But even these items here, like I could grab your picture now, and click it and drag it, and I could bring it up here into this other row. Very easy. I can grab and move stuff around and put it where I want it to be. There we go. Got to wait till that picture shows up there. All right. Now the next one here, this little looks like a picture in a picture. That's if you want to duplicate. Like if I click on this, it'll duplicate this row and everything that's inside of there. So let me scroll the page down a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to click on this duplicate and see it made another row with the exact same things inside of it because they're in this container. Right?
Right.
The next one on a row is this little, it looks like a little grid. And if I click on that, that's just going to open this so I can change the row structure for this one. Like if I wanted to have it as 3 columns, I could click on that. Now I've got 3 columns here. I could duplicate this text and then just drag one of them over. So now I'm going to have text, your picture, and text again.
Right.
All right. Very quickly I can do that and build out my page. So once I've got the basic structure, how I want things here. Oh, one other thing I forgot to tell you is here. This one here is the gear wheel. And when you click on that, the gear wheel is the settings for that item. Meaning if I click on this gear wheel, I'm going to go into the settings for the text element. If I click on this gear wheel, I'm going to go into the settings for the row. And if I click on this gear wheel, I'm going to go into the settings for the whole entire section.
Okay.
And they all have the same tabs inside of there. But some of the features on the tabs are different depending on what you're in. So let's first go look at this one. Remember I said that text was kind of ugly and we didn't, you know, wasn't anything to it. So let's go open that gear wheel. That brings us back to this page. So the first thing I want to do is I want to highlight this again because I want to center it on the page.
All right.
So there it is centered. And I know that this is text because it's set to paragraph, but I could have set it to like H1, H2.
Right.
You know what these tags are,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're the headings and subheadings.
Right. So, and it's just like a newspaper. You only want to use like one H1 tag on one page. That's it. You can have, think of a newspaper, you know, like Hindenburg crashes in Lakehurst. They got the giant headline, and underneath that, you've got the big kind of subheadlines, right? Those would be H2s. And then subheads underneath those are H3s. So that's how you want to structure your page. Only one H1 and then H2, H3. Now, you can control the size of this. It doesn't matter. Like even I'm on paragraph text here, and this is a paragraph now. If I, remember I said there's 3 tabs. Every one of these, doesn't matter if it's a section, a row, or an item, they've got 3 tabs: content, design, and advanced. So because I'm in the text element, if I go to design, and here it says text, if I open that up, now I can see it's using the default font, but if I click on that, I can choose any font that Google has available that's
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, great.
So let's say I like Roboto. So if I just start typing R-O-B at the top here, here's all the ones that do that. So if I say I want it to be Roboto Slab,
yeah,
and then I want it, if I click on the weight, if I say I want it to be, you know, bold, let me scroll this down a little more. I can change the color if I want. I could leave it default right now. It's black, but I could change it. And then here's my text size. So by default on right now, I've got 14 set as the standard, but you could say, no, I don't want it 14. I actually want it to be, you know, 48. Right. Now, sometimes when you're dragging this, it's hard to get the exact number that you want. You're juggling around. When you get it close, and you can just hover over this, you can either type it in, or you can use these little buttons right here.
Okay.
Like if I click one more, boom, there's 48.
Okay.
All right.
What's the most popular font that you use for, would you recommend for text?
Well, we want to choose a style across your website that is going to be matching.
Right.
Meaning your headline font, you usually use a different headline and a body font. It doesn't matter the size. And you only break away from those when you want to do something like really custom or really special to make it really jump out on that page.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
I do like Roboto Slab, and I'll show you why when we go look at the front end here in a second. So let me just click out of here so I can, you know, there's a whole bunch of other features you can go to down here, like, you know, text alignment, but then you've got like sizing. Sizing is not for the text and things like that. It's the sizing of the box.
Okay.
Spacing is the space around the box. You can control the border around it. You control the shadow. But a lot of that stuff I don't do here. I do it on the front end. So I'll show you. Let me go save that now. And now that we have this basic page, I'm going to update it and save this so I can take you to the front end now. Let's say we kind of have, we've thrown some text up there. We've got a general idea of what we want. Now we're going to go and do some custom, you know, finish it off to make the page look better. We're going to do that on the front end. Now, I'm old school, so I do it this way, but some people like to work almost exclusively on the front end. They just like it more visually. So let me go here and go to build on the front end now. It's going to take a second here, and it's got to load up and do its thing. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff running. I was in the middle of doing some Photoshop work and a few other things earlier. So, all right, you can see I've got that big text there now. And if I scroll down, remember we had text here, and then we had your picture here.
Yeah.
And then we created that new row that had 3, right? So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right. So let's first go up here and say, if I say, well, I know I'm going to put a lot of text here and your image is a bit big here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the row settings here. Notice when I hover over it, it shows me where I'm at. If I'm here, I'm in the gray thing. If I go up here, I'm in the blue thing. And if I'm over here, I'm in the row, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go here. And instead of, I still want two, but I don't want that layout. I want to go to this layout here, where I'm going to have my text is going to be
image.
wider.
Yeah.
And make your picture a bit small. So if I click on that, it instantly resizes things.
Ah, right. So you have more space for text.
Yeah, I can do other things, but I'm going to show you now. Let's say, let me just run over to, I need to go to the news for a second because I want to grab some text. I don't care what it is. I just want to go grab some blank text. So I've got this tab open here. Give me a second here while this page loads up.
There's a lot of information.
What's going on? Waiting for wait. Come on. There it is. I don't know. I need to get to a page that's got some text on it. So let me load a page here and politics is not a great example, but they do talk a lot, so.
Too much.
All right, all I want to do is grab some text here just so I can throw something in there.
Okay.
All right, that's good. 3 paragraphs, that'll do it. Let's go back over to our page here. All right, so let's say I want to mess around and work on this. So I'm going to hover over this. Why? I got a lot of stuff running. I should have rebooted my computer before I started this. I was doing video editing earlier today, and the tools for that are so huge that it eats up a lot of resources. So it's still back there loading that page. Something's going on with the internet right now. Come on. Hello? There we go. All right, so if I click on this box, I mean, sometimes when you're pasting things in like that, you don't want to bring, it might have code in there. So if you go to text mode, that will strip it out. So I'm just going to highlight that. I'd use the fast keys. Like I press Control A, that highlights everything in the box. And then I press Control V, and it pastes it in.
Right.
Then I go right back to visual mode, right? So now if I drag this box out of the way, you can see, okay, I've got my 3 paragraphs of text there.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I say, the first thing is, I don't think this is big enough, so I'm going to go to design, and I'm going to go to text. I'm going to leave the font the same, but I'm actually going to make this larger. I'm going to pump this up to like maybe 20. And I say, well, the space between the lines is not great, so the text line height here, I'm going to actually move that to be about 1. Let me look at 1.2 and say, okay, I like that. I want it to be black text. Stands out. But then notice how, oh, and down here, if I go to the corner of this thing, notice here, if I go in the corner, I can change the size of my box here if it's too big or too small or whatever while I'm working on this, right? And I can drag this and put it anywhere I want, but, all right. So I'm looking at this and I say to myself, you know, okay, this is good, but there's space up here that's too close to the headline over top of it, right? So if I scroll up here, the first thing is I notice that this is in a row and this is in a different row. So I'm going to open this row tool up. I'm going to go to design, and then I'm going to go to spacing, and there's margins and padding. Margin is on the outside of the box, from the outside edge to the next element.
Right.
Padding is on the inside of the box to the actual thing that's inside of it. So if I go to margin and I say at the top here, I can just start clicking the numbers. And you can see as I'm doing this, see how the space here is going up?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So if I say I want to have something like, I don't know, I'm going to highlight this and say 20 pixels. I can quickly look at it and say, okay, yeah, that's a bit better. I like that. I like that kind of spacing. So good. So now I can click and get out of there. Then I look at your image and I say, well, I want to do a little bit more to make this look, just to give it a little more coolness to it. So what I'm going to do is click on the settings for the image. I'm going to go to the design tab. And this time what I'm going to do is go down to box shadow. And here I have these different types of shadows that I'm going to do, but I'm going to use this one right here. I click on that. Can you see it just gave me that little gray edge around there?
Yeah.
If I scroll this down a little bit, so you can do this, now I can control the position of it, vertical up and down. I can do the blur strength. I can also do the spread. So if I crank this number up a little bit, notice how, you see how big it's getting there in that? I'm doing that on purpose so you can see it. You don't really want it that big, but like I'm going to leave it big for a second so I can show you what, this is the horizontal offset.
Mm-hmm.
See how I can move it right and left here? And the same with vertical offset, up and down, okay? Now, if you do something and you want to get it back to normal, notice how when I'm hovering over this, there's these little icons here. If I go to this little circle one, that resets it to what it was before I started all this stuff. It sets it back to the neutral, right? So if I go back down here and I say, okay, what I want to do is I want to make the shadow a little bit smaller, maybe down at about, 10 pixels.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to change the blur strength. I want it to be stronger, but see how that's a hard area
that looks like
versus
a frame.
Much softer.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. Then what I'm going to do is go back up here because I want to get the spacing. Remember I said the margin is the space on the outside and padding is the spacing around the thing. So if I click on this little thing between the two, it locks them together. So now if I put in there, say 20, see what it did? It put 20 at the top and 20 at the bottom.
Right.
And I can do the same on the right and the left. If I do that and put in 20. See how it made your image smaller to fit inside there? Because what it's doing is it's saying, as an example, let's say the box is 100 units, and I'm saying make 20 around whatever's in there. So it's making your image be 80 units or 60 units, because 20 on the right, 20 on the left.
Right.
You can individually control all those different things like that. All right?
If you want to remove that, that shadow, how do you do that?
All I need to do is go back to where the shadows were. Go right back down here to shadow box. Open the chevron for that one.
Right.
And then this first one here, if I just click on it, now the shadow's gone.
All right. Okay. Great.
I've got different styles of shadow. Like if I click on this one, notice how the shadow's only on this edge, or this is a very hard, sharp shadow, or, you can control all these different things. You can even set what the color of the shadow is.
Yeah.
Like maybe this is on a dark background, so you want to have like a light thing, or maybe I want to have like maybe blue is my highlight. See, now I've got this blue edge around it. You can choose what you want there. I go back to, that's solid black. And if you click on the color here, you can choose it, and then you can set the transparency of it also. So very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's scroll this up a little bit here again. I'm going to go back to no shadow. Now, once you build out the kind of things you want, like you can do, it's amazing what you can start to do here. Like I'm going to show you, let me go say okay there. Remember I said this is 2 columns, right? This section here. So I'm going to go over this row and I'm going to open my settings for this. And here's column 1, here's column 2. If I open the settings for column 1, now I can set the background or all the features for just that column. So let me go to the background just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Add a background color. Let me pick an ugly color just so it stands out and you can see exactly what's going on, right? So you could do that. You could stick an image in there and whatever. But now if I go to design and I go to my spacing, now this is where the padding, where you can see, like, see how the lettering goes right to the very edge on all of this?
Yeah.
If I set this, lock the two together, and then punch in, say, 20 here again, so you can see what's going on. See how top and bottom, now there's spacing around it, right? And then right and left, if I punch in 20. So now it pushes it off of that edge. I've got more control over how it fits in there. So I could go back here now and say, okay, if I wanted to make that, you know, I do want it to stand out, but this is just too crazy. If I click on that button for the color, maybe I make it transparent a little bit and bring it down softer. But see, now look at that. I've got this little bit of a box there where it makes the content stand out, but it's not so crazy in my face, you know, like, you know, brutally intensive. Now, all of this, it's when you're using colors and things like this, this is all done through code and CSS, so it loads incredibly fast. These types of things load like super fast. Images and videos and things like that are very big. They take time to load. So doing little tricks like this can make your site look cool, but actually load very fast.
Right.
Now, you can control, like, when you go to design here, there's all these things, and Divi has built into it some other, like, amazing things. Here's transform. Now, transform sounds like, okay, what does that mean? But it means that you can position this on the page in different places, and you can rotate it or tilt it or squiggly it or whatever. Like, I can take this box now and I can move it around on the screen. I can say, okay, I want to transform. I click on this one here for the translate. And I can move that box. See how it's actually going behind the text. I can see how it's moving around on the page. I can position it anywhere. Right? So that becomes cool when you want to have like things overlay and do that behind there. Let me go just set that back to clear it up. Let me go to this one now. This is the rotate transform. And notice here I've got three types. I've got rotated like this. All right. Let me clear that. I can rotate it like this.
Oh, certainly there's a lot of features on that one.
And clear that. Or I can rotate it like this. So you can really get a 3D kind of look to your page and what you're doing, especially with imagery and things like that, right? And again, that's all done in code. I could go to my, you know, like with skewing. Skewing's easier to see if it's a picture. So let me just get, let me say, okay, and now I'm back at the rows. Let me open this one. We'll go to the picture box instead. Hang on. Boop, get out of there and go here. Open the picture and go to design and go down to transform. And this time I'm going to choose skew. And then I can choose my skewing.
Oh.
You didn't know you had those moves, eh?
I tell you something. I'm telling you something. This has definitely got so much more than Studio Press.
Oh yeah, it honestly it smokes it. It's crazy. Now once you've got these basic things done, now you can add animation to the page without doing any custom coding. If you go to the Advanced tab, and you can do this at the level of an entire section, a row, or just a specific element. So right now I'm on the image, and I go to Advanced, and what I'm going to do is go down to, I've got transitions, and I've got positioning, and I got scroll effects. So I'm going to look at scroll effects here because I want to show you something that just, when they introduced this, it's like boggled my mind. It was like, oh, this is incredible. So this one here, we're going to put in some horizontal motion. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to turn it on. All right. So now that it's on, I get this little thing here, and it tells me where it's starting, where it's going to be in the middle, and then where it's going to end up. So and if I click on this, I can break it up so I can control it. So I want to break that up to choose how fast this is going to happen. So I'm going to do that side first, and I'm going to do this side. All right, so let's say I set that there. Watch what happens now when I scroll the page. You see that? Now, I can choose where my starting is and where it's going to be when it gets to the middle of the page. Like when this is in the middle of the screen here, right, I can choose where it's going to end up and be. But not only can I move it like right and left, I can rotate it and like spin it and do all kinds of things just by clicking on a couple of buttons here and doing that. And once I select these, I can copy that kind of thing to the other side. Like when I look at this and I go like, okay, I notice that when this is doing this, it's starting over underneath the text. And I say, wait a minute, that's not what I want. I want it to be off the other side. So I see what the numbers here, there's 4 and -4, right? So if I start this off at, say, maybe -20, and say, okay, so what happens here when we scroll this now? Put it over further the other way. It's hard to show this really without having enough room on the page. Let me go to, I'm going to change that to a +20. And we're going to change this one here to, say, -30. And I'll put those numbers down here and put that up there. Woo! See? As I scroll down the page, you come whizzing on.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Really a great tool.
Whoop, whoop. So let me change that one. I'm going to go to, say, -80. And I'm going to change this to 10. All right, so let's say they're looking down here, and then as you scroll onto the page, here you come in there. You can read what it is. This way, what you can do is, just by doing this, and again, this is 100% in code, this is very fast. It's not loading anything else or doing that. It's just one tiny little piece of text, and text like this loads super fast.
Yeah.
You can make it that as you're scrolling over your page, you've got movement on your page, and that really catches their eyes. Like, let's say you made an image here that says something about, I can help you live a better life, right? As an example. Well, as they scroll to that section, that message comes on the screen. And then as they start to scroll away, it goes back off of the screen. And they can see that. They got that interactivity happening, right? So at the same time, when I look at these numbers, if I go back up just a little bit, that was a horizontal. I've got a vertical movement, but I've also got, like, I can do a rotation. So if I go to the rotation button and turn that on, and again, I'll break these apart. I'm just dragging them into a whatever position here, but oh, I got to change the numbers here. Let's go to, I don't know, 15, 0, and I don't know, 135. I don't know, I'm just picking stuff here. I have no idea. So as they scroll onto the page, here comes the message, right? See that? It's like, whoop, whoop. Right? So just by dragging these things and custom doing that, you can instantly put that in there and get it. And again, like if you don't like it, if you're working with this and you say, oh, okay, I did all this, and if I work over the words here, and this is just for this one here, the rotation one, if I go over the words, and there's that little circle. I just deleted all that. If I go back to the horizontal one, it took that one out too. So now all that animation stuff we put in there is gone. So done. Now what you need to do here is when you're working on the front end, see this little purple circle here? It's over your picture right now. Let me go there. This is the menu structure. You need to click on that to open it, but you need to make sure that you click this, the save button. You can do this lots of times when you're working on that, but it won't keep your actual design until you save it.
Save it, right.
At the end. If you leave this page without doing that, without clicking the save, you've got an issue. Now, another thing that's cool when you have this open is, okay, so you design this, you get it, and you say, well, this looks great. I finally got it the way it looked, but how is it going to look when I'm on a mobile phone? Right? So if you look over here on this little gray bar, there's a computer screen, there's a tablet, and there's a phone. So if I click on the phone, it instantly resizes the entire page to show you what it's going to look like on a phone.
All right.
And then while you're in there, you can say, okay, this text is not good. So I'm going to open that text up, and I'm going to go to design. And remember, there was text here, right? So if I open the text up, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and here's where my font size was, and here was my line height, the spaces between them.
Right.
But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, for the line height here, I'm going to click on this little button, and this says to me, okay, you've got desktop, you've got tablet, and I'm on phone right now.
Right.
So while I'm on phone, I'm going to say that I want my line height. I can change it here, drag it to where I want. So only in the phone, it's going to be 1.2. Whereas if I go back to the desktop mode, I'll click on the desktop, and look, the entire page goes back so I can see what it looks like in there.
Incredible.
And I could custom do it there for fixing that up for, you know, it's stunning how crazy cool as a developer this is. Because everything that I'm showing you here used to take hours and hours. It was brutally hard to get these things lined up and doing that. And now you just click a couple of buttons. You can do this stuff like quite easily and quite fast. All right? Just remember, always when you're done, you click that box. Oh, because I exited out there and I was in the phone when I came in, I just want to shift back and go back to my full screen mode and go to save again. If I make changes, get in the habit of saving a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you're done here, if you say, okay, you've got two options. You can either if you just exit the Visual Builder, notice up here it's on the bar, right, up at the top. If I exit it, it's just going to go to the live version of the page. If I go to edit page, it's going to take you, I just clicked it, by the way, it's going to take you back into the back-end editor version of it. It's exactly the same stuff. It's that you're seeing it not in visual mode, but you're seeing it in the raw blocks pieces that you're working with here.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the next awesomest, most coolest thing I'm going to show you is, let's say you're starting and you want to build a page from scratch. Like you showed me that website. You said, hey, that lady's website, I'd like to have a website like her for the homepage.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can go, looking at her page, we can build that page pretty rapidly, pretty fast.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Inside of Divi, I could build something like that. I could build it fast. But what I'm going to show you something cool is I'm going to go to okay. This little plus sign says on the purple bar says load from library. So I'm going to click on that. And there's 223 pre-made layouts. So if I look down in here and I say, okay, I'm interested in, as an example, lifestyle. I'm going to click on lifestyle. And now it's only going to show me there's 17 layouts for lifestyle. So if I scroll through here and I say, okay, I kind of like, I don't know. What do I like? 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 I like that one. Okay?
Okay.
So if I say, yeah, hey, I like that one. If I click on that, now it opens up inside of here and it says, okay, we have an about page, we have a blog page, we have a contact page, we have a home page, we have a landing page, we have a travel.
Holy
so
moly.
Click on,
it's got all that already.
Well, not yet. What I have to do is, like, if I click on the home page, here it says, this is what it looks like.
Right, right.
Okay? This is the view, the live demo, and then I say, yeah, I say, no, that's not what I want. Maybe I want to look at this one, the about page. No, I don't like that one. Let me go back to the home page again. Say, okay, I like that one. So if I say, use this layout, I'm going to click on that button, and now I got to wait for a minute because it's actually connecting out to the Divi website's home website theme on the web and doing a couple of things. You see, it drew that little check mark. And then I'll say, okay, look, it built that whole structure and everything for me. And if I say, okay, update, save the page.
Wow.
Got to wait till it's finished loading. It's got a bunch of imagery and stuff like that in there now.
That's amazing.
All right, so remember this was the XYZ test page, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
If I have this tab open, this is the XYZ test page. This is what it was before, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
Let me go refresh it. And now we have this page.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Right? Now you can say, yes, I like this, but you can go in and edit it however you want. Right? If I go back, if I'm in this page and notice up here, I've got the enable visual builder, just like I did before, right? I click on that button. It'll take a minute to load here because it's got to load up all these images and do stuff and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot going on in the background, right? So okay, so if I go here and I say, all right, I got the page I can work on here now. And if I hover over this, let me scroll up all the way. And here's my little tool. So I click on that. This is a very special kind of section, but it says Jenny's Travel. So if I change that to Richard's Travel, I want that a capital T. And then this is the title. So if I go to design and I look through here and I see there's title text, and I open that, it tells me what the font is. They're using Noto Serif and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go down here a little bit and I see it's using 7% of view width, but I'm going to change that. And I'm actually going to put a number in there. So I'm going to say 50 px. Oh, I've already put the px in there. So if I look at that and say, okay, that's a bit small, but now I can drag it and say, yeah, I'd like around 70. So there it is, 70. Say, okay. Adventures, photograph, impression of blogger, or, to put my stuff in there. I scroll down and say, okay, this is nice. I like this entire section here, but I want to make sure that it's me in there, not her. So I'm going to go here and click on that. And there's her picture. If I click on her picture, I go to the library, and there's you. So I click on you and say, okay. And say, okay. So I can just go change things or do whatever. But even that, if I want, I can say, all right, so I get to here, and I want to add a new section in here. So I can just go and click it and say, I'm going to add a new section. I want to have the regular sections were how I did it, but there's actually specialty sections and full width sections. You can explore those, you know, like if I go specialty, these are custom layout blocks that you can do all kinds of things with. But I'm going to just exit out of that and go back here and just say, click on it. I'm going to go with a regular section, and I'm just going to have a standard row. And I'm going to put a big text in there again. And in my text, I'm going to say, hi. I click in that box, I press Control A, and I'm just going to write in there, this is awesome, cool. Do that, center it, bring it up to the design, go to text mode, scroll down, go to my font size. I'm going to put in there 70 pixels. And I want it black, right? Say, okay, this is awesome. See how fast that was?
Very, very, very fast.
Click on that, go to save, done like dinner.
Wow. Wow.
This is why I say Divi, this is why this theme is #1 in the world right now.
Totally blown away by this. Yeah.
It is just killer cool. Once you learn some basic stuff so you can move around in that, a lot of times what I do when I'm working with my clients is I build the basic framework for them. I get these components in place and do things and get the color schemes and the fonts and all that kind of setup, right? While they're working on content.
That's it.
Then I bring them back and I give them or somebody on their team an introduction to this kind of stuff. Then they start working on it and doing that. And then they call me back in when they've hit a roadblock on like, okay, I'm really scratching my head here. I know you showed me this and that, and I want to do this one thing here, and how do I do that? And then I step in and go like, okay, and I give them a live lesson like we're doing right now. This is how you can do that and customize this and get this kind of look and feel and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Ah, awesome. And then off they go again, right?
Right.
So, what I recommend now, because you can't destroy it, this page here is a good one, or make another one that you can work on and play around with and do whatever. It's just the XYZ and just destroy it, blow it up, whatever.
Right.
Like at any time now, if we go back to if I go back to the edit page, which is the back end editor. Yeah. And if you say, okay, that was kind of nice, but it was a bit too feminine for me. I didn't really want that page. I didn't like that. Or we just wait till it loads again here. And go back to my little plus symbol. We're back in the pre-made layouts. You say, well, I looked at lifestyle, but let's look at business. And you say, okay, what do we got in business here? You say, hey, look at that one with the angle. I kind of like that. And this is called the copywriter layout. Let me go check that one out. What does that look like? They've got an about page, a log page, a contact page. We've got a home page. We got a landing page. I got a portfolio and a pricing and a services page.
Oh, right. The pricing and servicing. Yeah, definitely. If I'm going to monetize the site, definitely.
Yeah, it's very, very quickly we can add them and custom build them. So let me click on the home page here. This is what their home page layout looks like. If I'm still not sure looking at it here, I can say, hey, what happens if I view a live demo? It's going to take you to the Divi website, which is Elegant Themes. This is what the page actually will look like on your system.
Wow.
Right? And you say, yeah, I like that. I'm going to have to change the colors because I don't like the orange. And yes, I'm going to have to adapt my images. But yeah, that's the one that I want. And you can just, get out of there. Go with that. I'm back here so I can say, yes, use this layout. Now look, it says here, replace existing content. So if I say that, use this layout, Again, it's going to the Divi site, having a talk with it, downloading and bringing everything into your site. And brings it back into here. I just say update. Wait for the editor to finish loading.
I tell you, I can hardly wait to get a practice page myself and start practicing on this.
Yeah, when you first get in there, it can be like a little bit overwhelming. But once you learn what these are, these buttons are here, and then playing around with it, very rapidly, because Divi has made everything to be all the same icons. A lot of sites you go to, it gets confusing because there's so much.
Yeah.
They've done this to make it easy to figure out. And if you hover over anything, it'll like, see if I leave my mouse here, section settings, right? If I hover over this one, duplicate section. Right. So if I go to this one here and hover over it, duplicate row, right?
Wow.
So it just makes it like, oh, wow. And let's say you build a section. Let's say you build a really cool contact area that you want to put on every page. Let's say down at the bottom of your page, you want to have on one side, your picture and your phone number, and then on the other side, you want to have a contact form. Name, email address, blah, blah, blah. Fill in all your information, hit the button. If you design a really nice section, you say, this is perfect. Well, what you can do is you can export just that section and put it in the library, and then you can go to other pages and import that section in when you're creating a new section, and it will be already pre-done. Bang, 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 bang. So you can do it. And you can set that to global, which means if you change anything on one of them, it changes on all of them across your entire website.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's mind, like, wow.
Absolutely. Love
All right,
it.
so I just saved that. Let's go look at the, again, the front end on this one. And there we go. There's our XIZ test page.
Ah, that's classy. Classy. Love it.
All right, so you're ready to go.
Wow, and it didn't take that long. Jesus.
So when we were talking about, where was that lady's site here? Leslie Shetchen. Okay. So really, this is a section with one singular, they've got, this has got one row here that's got a big, can you see me right now? Or can you only see my screen?
I can see you, but I don't know if you can see me.
No, I've got you minimized on my thing so I can see my full screen. But this right here is actually in a row that is 2/3, 1/3. Then it's got another row here that's probably the same. Then it's got another row that is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. They're just not putting anything in there. Okay. In the background, they're using this image as a section. So I literally could build this whole piece right here in like 3 minutes flat.
Wow.
Then I go down to here and say, okay, this is just another row and section thing. It's another row. So again, 1, 2, 3 columns. That's another row inside of another section because they got a different background.
Mm-hmm.
And then here they've gotten, this is probably all just one big image that they put in there. So this is a row with 1 and 2 columns. One column's an image, one column is text. All right, we get down here. Another section with this kind of gray or very light blue. They've got one row with this in here, and then they've got another one that's got two columns. They've set the background color on the columns to be white, even though the section is this color here, so that's why it looks like it's setting on it. They've set the drop shadow around these columns, and then they put a text block, and a button inside of that column. Same over here, very quickly.
Oh.
Like if you wanted the same written text, I could build this page, if I was just copying her text and doing things across, 15 minutes, I could replicate this page.
Jesus.
And have it in there, and then you could go and customize it.
Wow.
We can do this too. This is called
pop-up, is
Parallax.
it? Okay.
Oh, that's easy to do. It's called a parallax image. We're setting the image to be there, and as we're scrolling, it's just going through the section, right? You just need
Right.
to have those images pre-designed in that. But I use other tools too. Like if I'm looking at this site and I wanted to go and like, you know, kind of steal it, I've got this little plugin, so I can go show me styles. I wait for this to open up, and then I can say, okay, this tells me a little bit about it, and I say, show me the colors used on this website. So here's all the colors that they use. Right?
Yeah.
Then I say, well, show me the images they're using. Oh, here's the images she's using. So I could go grab these right now, download them, use them, and literally build her site. Like, chum, 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 chum.
It's that bloody easy, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been a web geek for a long time, so, you know, hey, it's my thing.
No, it's fabulous. It's a great gift, great thing to have.
Well, some people can fix cars, like some people can do whatever. This is you know, web geekery for building websites and doing digital marketing. That's my thing. So once you learn how to do this, though, you can very rapidly, if you get an idea, and let's say you want to make, let's say Wednesday you're out, you're talking to a client or something, they say, hey, I'm really having a problem with this thing. And you think, you know, that would be a good little ebook or something that I could make. It's going to be 10, 15 pages. It's going to be great for driving traffic. Mm-hmm. I'm going to create that. So you go home, you write that up, and then you say, okay, now I need a landing page, and I want to add them to my email. So you go into your website, and you say, okay, I'm going to call this thing, you know, 5 easy steps to living, you know, smoke-free, whatever, right? You put in your page title. You start building out a couple of blocks, bang, 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 bang. You know, I mean, it's very rapid. You can put these things into place rather than having to constantly go out. It used to be you get an idea like that, you'd have to go like, okay, I got to call my web guy, I got to talk to my designer, I got to do this, I got to do this, and got to do this, and it takes forever. Now you can work on the big things, and then, you know, you can get the content together. That maybe you need somebody like me to come in and just tidy things up a little bit, or make it run a little faster, or do things like that, or give you some suggestions. But at least you can work on the content and put the pieces together to do the things that you want to do.
Correct.
All right?
Yeah.
And that saves you, one, time, but also money. And time actually equals money in a lot of cases too. So it ends up being money, money, money is, you know.
I want to be competent and confident that I know what I'm doing, and if I am stuck, I definitely will call you.
Yeah, well, today was to give you an overview. Now I want you to go in there and wrestle around, we'll play with it, and obviously you won't be as fast as I was when the first time you're getting in there and messing around with it. That's cool. But then the next time that we talk, what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk a bit about marketing, but we're also going to go over and review this stuff again. Okay. So then that way you can see it, and after you've gone through it, you know, like 3, 4, or 5 times, it'll start coming a lot faster. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to go look at things and say like, I don't like that, I want to change that. And you'll be able to move things around and get it, you know, fine tune it and get it the way that you want it much faster, much easier.
Okay. Okay? Great.
Awesome. All right, so what I need from you is I have to set you up with a user account so that you can actually get access to this. It'd be nice, right?
Yeah, of course it would be.
So what I need to know is let me go back over here because I need to grab your email address.
Now, coming back to my am I going to have a special email address for my website? I don't want Gmail.
Yeah, this is only for logging in. I have to have an email address for logging in. You can write whatever you want.
Okay.
So that's... All right, so I'm going to go add new. This is where the username is. So we need a username for you that you're going to use that is... Nobody's ever going to see this. Once I set this up, nobody's going to see this. So, but I need to know what you want to call it. You know, something.
Let me see. What about RICH, Richard? That's my shortened. And just put some algebra letters behind it. 9XYZ. No.
We want something that is totally different. Like mine is Jobber. right?
Mm-hmm.
So you used to work on ships, right?
Yes.
I saw those pictures. You were on the ship. So I'm going to say, let's call you Ship 99 Guy pound.
Whatever that means.
We want something that is totally off the track, that nobody's going to see this. This is only to log into the back end.
Right.
That's it. And we want it to be something that is not associated with your name.
Must I write that? Okay.
I will. I'm going to have all this for you here. Just
all right.
Give me a second here.
Thanks.
Let me just stick your email address in there. And then I'll go back and grab this and copy it and back over here and paste that in. Great. So then we go back out here and we're going to go to first name. ICHARD. That's how you spell your name, right? Abrahams?
Yeah, correct. Correct.
And your, hang on, I forget something. Let me go there. Let me go down to settings. I'm going to go to general. Grab that. Go over here. Your website is http:// There we go, and we're going to make you a administrator, and we're going to set up your password. PASS, we're going to say King 99 Fisher @pound. That works. Go here and we'll paste that in. It's strong. Set that up. Administrator. Yep. And add new user. Error. The username is invalid because it is legal characters, or well, it didn't like the pound. Okay. Forgot about that.
No, that's a very strong password.
No. V. Still administrator, everything. Yeah, okay. Add new user. Now we need to go back in here. We've got to edit this. And we got to show the toolbar, but we need to set this up here. Your nickname is going to be RICHARD.
As long as you don't call it Popeye.
Huh?
As long as you don't call it Popeye.
Aye. Okay, so but we want your nickname there to be there, and the display name is your full name. Great. That hides everything. You've already got your profile picture in there because that email is tied to that. We will update. Okay. I want you to try logging in now while I have you on the screen, but I'm going to show you. I don't like emailing this, so let me get rid of that. So it is your this is your username, Ship99Guy with a capital S and a capital G.
Wait, can I write that down?
Yes, you write that down somewhere safe.
Ship 99 Guy.
With a capital G on Guy.
Yeah.
And your password is, it's going to be the two words King Fisher, but it's King with a K, capital K, and then 99, and then capital F and Fisher.
King 99
and
Fisher.
And then it's @pound. to me, it's the pound symbol. I'm old school. Today, kids call it the hashtag.
Okay, so it's at hashtag.
At hashtag.
At hashtag.
At hashtag, at hashtag.
Right, okay, so it's password, capital K, lowercase king 99, capital F, lowercase Isha. Okay, got him?
Now, what I want you to do is go try and log in right now. So I want you to go to this web address right here, the build-006.webyabber.com/, and then the word sign in, SIGNIN.
Right, now, how do I log into that now? Because are you going to minimize that for me? Let me see, build, let me write that down.
Okay, if you bear with me 1 second here, I'll stick it in. Where do you write your stuff down like this?
I've got a notepad.
Okay, what I'd recommend to you if you're going to be doing a lot of work online, there's two things. Number one, I have a separate Gmail account that I do not use for emailing or anything. But inside of that Gmail account, it is connected to a Google Drive. And inside of that Google Drive, I have different documents in there, but I also have a spreadsheet. And in that spreadsheet, I keep all my passwords.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Now, I never, ever, 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 ever email. I don't ever tell anybody what that email address is or nothing. So I never get any spam, no nothing. It is completely hidden.
Okay.
But I keep all my stuff in there.
I will do that.
And then number two, I also use the free version of LastPass. Like I'm running them at the way at the end, that's I'm in last place. So it's LastPass. Pass is for password.
Right.
You can see that's what this thing is right here. It's running. See that little icon, LastPass? Now you can add that to your Google Chrome and it will remember your password. You got to create a master password for it. You put in your whatever email address you want to use, like your Gmail address. You create a master password, but from that point forward, anytime that it's turned on, it will auto-fill in your forms for you. It will remember them if you want when you're signing into anything, and it stores it in an encrypted online system. I got both. I keep my passwords backed up inside my Google stuff, but I use LastPass all the time. That's why, if you watch here, if I sign out of here now, let me go here and let me go log out. Get rid of that and get rid of that. And it's logging me out. I think it's logging me out. Is it logging me out? Log out. Okay, you're logged out.
Okay.
So even if I go here and just see this little icon here showing me that? It already knows who I am because I've been here before and I filled this in and I saved it in LastPass. So it's filled in my username and it's filled in my password, even though I can't see it. So then all I have to do is click on the I am human and click the login and I'm in.
Okay.
I don't have to remember or fill that in every time.
Right.
Very handy.
Indeed.
Now, you don't necessarily need to do this for this site because the URL is going to change and then LastPass won't remember it. But they have a paid version. I've used the free version for, I don't know, 7 years now, and it works great. And I've got literally hundreds of websites in there that, I don't have to worry about my login stuff. I just go there, it fills all the forms in, login and whatever for me automatically. And just done. Get in there. Speeds up a lot of that. Because you're going to have things like, your website, and then you're going to have your Aweber account or whatever, and then you're going to plugging in the different types of things, and it's just handy to save time rather than having where's my piece of paper and,
Right.
And if you happen to be away and there's, somebody steals that or, you have a big crazy rain and it gets wet and you lose your book or whatever with all your passwords in it, believe me, I've had that happen to me. It's a nightmare to first remember all the websites, but then two, trying to remember what all the passwords were, and then three, trying to do a password reset and trying to get your stuff back, and it's just insane.
Right.
So
okay.
And because LastPass is stored offline, on their servers, if you go to another computer, then you install the LastPass little tool into their Chrome, and then you log into it, you have all your passwords and everything back again, even on a completely different computer.
Great.
Ah, awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, so you can see here that it's that sign in, SIGNIN, but I want you right now, I'm going to grab this link and I'm going to put it in the chat window. Then I want you to open a browser and I want you to see if you can log in.
Okay.
Let me go. I got to stop share screen so I can actually get out there. Let me go to chat window. There's the URL in the chat window.
No, oh.
You can just highlight that.
I did.
Chat window,
I did. I'm in. And
Okay.
it's asking me to put in my email address or username.
Yeah, so your username is that...
Ship 99 guy.
Yeah, that's right, Ship99 guy.
So let me
Put that
see.
one in there.
Ship 99 uppercase G, lowercase uy. And the password is Kingfisher. King. Let me see if I can see it. And King 99. Capital K F I S A E. And then the old fashioned, what are you saying? A. Here goes. I am human.
All right, great.
Now,
So you'll just go over to the pages section on the left, and then from there you can get in there and just go to it. Go do your thing and mess
right,
around and play with that.
I am now I'm in the dashboard. I'm in the back end of the website. Yeah?
Yeah, that's great.
Where are you?
I'm in the back end of WordPress also right now, but I'm
Okay.
logged in as me, not you.
Okay, now I just got your Zoom here. Okay, great. Right, so what shall I work on shall I just play around with the test page for now so I can get used to what and just remember
Yeah,
what you told me?
The more comfortable you get with the editor, because you're going to be creating content that you want to display to people. And when you get to the point that you're not struggling with the editor anymore, then you're just like, okay, I need to create content and I can put it up there and I know what is available to me to mess around with.
Right.
You can just go and you can do it. So a lot of times when I'm creating content, it used to be what I did is I went over to Word and I did all my Word there, then I had to transfer it across. And again, that takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
After this came along and the capabilities of it, when I go to create content, I create it right in Divi itself. I
Okay.
just go and do my blocks, and I can move my blocks around and whatever. When it's ready, I change it from draft to publish, and it's live. I
Okay.
save so much time.
Great. I just want to ask you something. There's a message that came up from SEO. It says I've got a huge SEO issue.
Yeah, that's because we're on the temporary thing, and I've got the SEO turned off. I'm telling Google, don't find this site right now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because we don't want it to find that it's on my test server.
All right. Okay.
What we're going to be doing is once you get the homepage done and those things, then what we need to do is we got to get you some better hosting. You said you were on Wealthy Affiliate or whatever.
Yeah. No, I want to change that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what we're going to do is pick up this entire site and we're going to move it over to the new hosting once you're ready to go.
Yeah.
The first thing is getting a grip on the editor. The next time we talk, we'll talk more about the editor and any questions you have. But then we're going to be talking about the marketing pieces of it. what you got to do. Then I'm going to be talking to you. I have a 9-step grid platform that I work with for putting the marketing together. You and I were only going to cover those first initial 3 blocks because that's really all the time we've got that we can work on this. But these are the most critical things. These are the foundation that everybody, you've got to have this. And if you don't do this, I can pretty well tell if somebody's going to be successful online or if they're going to have a chance at success or they're pretty well going to fail. And the ones that I can say right away are pretty going to fail is because these 3 blocks in the bottom, they do not spend enough time on them.
Right.
And block number 1 is the absolute must spend the most amount of time on because everything else flows out of that.
Right.
So we will talk about that the next time. But for now, your homework is to just go and enjoy and rip apart and destroy and build and do whatever on those pages and you know.
Right.
Just work on test pages for now because, like, if you don't like them, you can delete them and build another one and do whatever. And give them some weird name. Like, you'll notice that one is called XYZ hyphen sample page or whatever.
Right.
You know, you can destroy it and delete and whatever. Build it as many times as you want.
All right. Okay. I'll practice on the test way. Fantastic. And then will you let me know when you want to have the next session again?
Well, yeah, I will. But first, what I want you to do is you need to go and play with this for a bit. And I don't know how much time you're going to do. So when you're starting to get a bit comfortable with it, let me know. And then we'll schedule the next one.
Okay, brilliant.
Like, I don't want to say it's 2 days from now, but you're busy for a day and a half, and then you don't really have time to mess around with it.
Yeah.
It's better if you go play with it a bit first and feel like, okay.
Right.
And now I have some very specific questions. You know, Richard was talking about this, or how do I do that, or something. Right?
Yeah.
Then I can say, okay, great. Let's go through that. Show you those things quickly. It'll make a lot more sense to you because you'll be familiar with the back end now and how these pieces work. And
absolutely.
What's going on, right?
Absolutely. As soon as you leave now, I'm going to fiddle around with it right now, and I'll set it. I'll set the time, say an hour a day or 2 hours a day, just to get rid. So in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, I'd say, Richard, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm confident I can handle it.
And on that note, I will say that I never stop a man from fiddling. So, it's kind of a cardinal rule.
Listen, Richard, you've been awfully great, helpful, supportive, and I do appreciate it. Thanks you ever so much. Thank you.
All right, have a great day, and we'll be in touch. Just email me when if you run into a question, like you're really stuck on something, just fire a question off to me. Maybe even if we jump on for 5 minutes and I say, here, press that button here, and you know, that's it. That's what you're looking for.
I'll do that. Okay, right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks a million. Are you still there?